Good afternoon, and welcome to Attorney Commander J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson talk show. Today, the topic of my show is about corruption. Corruption in government. What does that mean? First of all, we know that corruption means dishonesty, unscrupulous behaviors, deceitfulness, lies, treachery, anything that is not in conformity with decent society is corruption. When we talk about government, we're not only talking about the political government, the political structure, we're talking about all forms of government. Every institution in our society is governed by a system of government. In the church, you have the deacons, you have the pastors, you have the laymen, you have the leaders of the church. In the clubs, you have the presidents, the boards. In government, you got the president, the legislature. So in every aspect or facet of our society, we are governed by a system of leaders that we term as government. So just as corruption is in the political government and the political system, so it is throughout every aspect of our society. It's in the church, it's in the society, it's in the clubs, it's in government, it's in every aspect, everything we do. And that is why, that is why for so many years, our country has not developed. Because when you have corruption permeating or spreading throughout the society, and nobody is there to check it, the country can't grow. And you see most third world countries, these are the things we suffer from. Because of corruption, because of people not caring for their country, because people not having the consciousness to be aware of the fact that in order for the country to grow, for there to be fairness and peace and stability, things got to flow in a uniform way, in an honest way, in a fair way. We know that. Look at Liberia from 1980. We're still suffering from the coup d'etat. We're still suffering for it. Look at all the mess in our streets. Look at our roads not developed today. Look at people stealing our money. Right now, I heard Sam Tware is being convicted for stealing money, and they can't find him. He left the country. This is where we come to. This is where our country and our people have come to. Why? We blame ourselves. We can't blame the government. We can't blame one group of people, the Congo people. We can't blame the country people. We blame the Liberian people. We are responsible for the level of corruption in our country. No one man can stop corruption. No president can change our country from a corrupt nation to a good and honest nation and people without the support and help of the Liberian people. Nobody can do it. And this is why I'm doing this lesson today. To get it in your minds that for the way we're living to change, we ourselves have to take responsibility, accountability for our lives. We have to do that. Nobody else can do that for us. The American people can't do that for us. The French people can't do that for us. Our mind and power can't do that for us. We, as the people of Liberia, got to rise up and do it for ourselves. We have failed for too long, man. We have failed for too long. I sit here every day, I talk the same thing. I know sometimes I may sound repetitive. I may sound boring. People don't want to hear the same thing over and over. But we got to hear it. It has to sink into our minds. It's a necessity that we rise up as a people with integrity, men and women with honesty, sincerity, and a vision to build a great nation. We can do it. We can do it. There's nothing stopping us. But we have to reevaluate ourselves and our society. And not only do we reevaluate it, we set things right. We got laws. All our laws are on the books. But when we don't implement the laws, when we are lax and let crime and deception and lies and treachery flourish in our country, our whole system of governance is kaput. It's kaput. So here we are again. We kill our leaders. We destroy our nation. We kill each other like dogs. Now, we can't just live to be living. We can't just say, oh, let's just live, let everybody do what they want to do. No, we can't do that. We'll go right back into war. We'll go right back into instability. We'll go right back into chaos. And we don't want that. So it behooves us as men and women of integrity, of decency, of law and order, to lay the groundwork for a better Liberia. And in order for us to do it, we have to take a conscious and serious look at ourselves and our practice of corruption. What is corruption? I told you that it's deceitfulness, it's dishonesty, unscrupulous actions, deceitful actions. And one of the most common forms of corruption in Liberia is this is practiced throughout Liberia. Even I used to practice, I told you it. We always take the other people's money to make deals to benefit us. You can't do that. Okay? Let me give you my example. I told you one time, I told this thing over and over. When my father sent me to buy something, I went to the Lebanese man and negotiated the price of the thing. The thing was like $10. I negotiated it for $5. And the man, I gave him the $10. He gave me my $5 change. I kept the $5, the extra $5, and I went and gave my father the product and told him it was $10. So I gave him the product. He took it. So one day he and I were in the car. We went by the man's place, and the Lebanese man came out, his friend. And they started talking, yeah. And the Lebanese man said, oh, you know, your son came by to buy something, and I gave him a good to eat. My father said, yeah, you gave him a good to eat. He said, yeah. He said, the thing was $10. I hooked him up good. So my father turned and looked at me. He said, oh, yeah, you gave him a good deal. Huh? So the man left. After we got home, my father called me and said, my man, where's my money? I said, what money? He said, you got $5 for me. Hold on a minute. I'm doing my show. I will call you back. He said, where's my money? I said, what money? He said, you went to buy my thing. I gave you $10. You pay $5. You got $5 back. Where's my $5? I said, no, that's my money. I negotiated it. He said, no. He said, you can't do that. He said, I gave you my money. You went and negotiated it. I said, no, that my money. I kept saying that my money. I went and did it. I talked to the man and all of that. That you didn't know about the thing. So that my father just said, you will learn. And he just left it alone. He said, you will learn. And he walked away. And I came to learn. Not while I was in school. Not after I graduated from school. I learned while I was in law school that that's corruption. So if I didn't learn this thing in high school, I didn't learn it in college, I went to law school to learn it. You must know that I am not the only one in the Liberian society that think like that and does things like that. I'm not the only one. So we got a whole society of people who are corrupt and they don't even know they're corrupt because I didn't know it was corruption. And secondly, there was a guy in the Rhode Island community here, one of our leaders. We gave him money to do something. He went and did the same thing. He negotiated the price with somebody, and the person negotiated the price and gave him the balance. Instead of bringing the money back to the association, he took the money and ate it. So he and I were talking one day, and he told me, he said, Rodney, you know, I got this money, you know, I negotiated the price and got it back, and I want to spend this on this. I said, you know, that's corruption. He said, "That's corruption." He said, "That's not corruption." He said, "I want to make my deal." I said, "Yeah, but that's not your money. The money you had to make the deal with was not yours. It was the association's. And the association gave you the money under the trust and confidence that they repose in you to go and buy this thing and bring the money back with a change, whatever you had to do. So when you went and negotiated, any negotiation you made for them, any negotiation you made for a reduction in the price of the item, it's not for you, it's for the association. So when you buy it at a reduced price, you take the money back to the association. You don't keep it for yourself. And that's the same thing some people did in our society. Ben and I, Yuri, we a radio station. Ben and I, Yuri, were working for Charles Taylor in the Liberian government in maritime. He went on a maritime business overseas. That's when he heard about the radio station deal. Instead of coming back and opening it and bringing it to the Liberian government, he came and dealt with the people individually and made a deal for himself to run a radio station. That's corruption. That radio station Ben and I has is for Liberia. He can't own it. And you see how corruption works. That's corruption. If you ever go on a deal on Liberian money, on the Liberian people money, on our dime, and you come into contact with opportunity to make money, that money, that opportunity is for Liberia. It's not for you. You cannot own it. Because if you did not go on Liberian people business, you have not come in contact with the opportunity. So because you went on Liberian people business and came in contact with the opportunity, you cannot own it. The Liberian people owns it. So you see how corruption works? For you to own something, you got to do it on your own money, on your own time. You can't do it on Liberian people time. Anything you do on Liberian people time is for the Liberian people. Any opportunity you get is for the Liberian people. So corruption is not only going and stealing the money or lying and reducing the money. No. Sometimes no money got to be involved in the initial stage. It's just the opportunity to make money. When you steal that opportunity from the Liberian people, that's corruption. And most Liberian people don't know about that. Most of our people don't know about that. And those who have been caught have not been punished. Why? Because people don't want to punish people. Because when it's their time, they don't want other people to point it out and punish them. And that's how corruption multiplies. Multiplies. But my Liberian people, we can talk about corruption all day. People will get tired of hearing it. Yes, but it's a necessity. It's a necessity. When we look at our children drinking from water coming out of the ground, putting the cup to the water and drinking it. When we look at the dirt in our city, people using the toilet and wasting the feces in the street because they lack education and knowledge. How can we survive? We can't survive, my people. That's turning back the hands of time. That putting us backwards time and time again. And my people, the reason why I do these things, I'm 60 plus years old. All this thing that happening, it's not just starting today. I live on the Tottenham time when we had nothing. When we were developing, we went through the same thing. People were drinking dirty water. People were striving to survive. Feces were in the street. Tottenham were trying to train people. We had the peace schools. We had the student groups. We had different groups going over the country teaching people. All this thing didn't start today. And you see, that's why I got to talk. Because I've had a lifetime of mediocrity. I've had a lifetime of struggles, of sufferings, of bad health, of bad conditions. I've had a lifetime of it. And as parents, as elders of our society, our greatest goal is to make things better for our future, our children. Make things better for them so that they don't go through the hard times we went through, so that they can come and start at a decent place where they can advance their lives for the future to another level, where when the future comes, they can advance it to a greater level. And that's how we develop. We've been through war. We kill each other. Yes, that threw us back. But now we got to come and be conscious. We got to look around us and see our environment and say, no, no, no. We got to have conscious men and women among us or we die. The way we live in is not right. It's not right. It's terrible. And we're only living like that because people stealing. All the wealth of our country being depleted by individuals. The masses of our people not enjoying the wealth of our country. And that's not right. That's not fair. Because the more individuals steal our country wealth, we cannot appreciate what God has given us. We can't. Because when people steal small, the thing that belongs to the whole is diminished. We can never get it back. But if corruption stops and we keep our resources and we ensure that our leaders are leaders and not rogues, only we can ensure that. We can make sure that our leaders be flogged. We can ensure that our leaders are punished. We can rise up and rebel against our leaders if they are rogues. Only we can do it, my people. Only we can do it. It's time for the Liberian people to rise up as a people, conscious of the fact that the way we're living is not right. The way we're living is not good. The leadership of our country has failed us. We as a people must become conscious of elevating ourselves from the ashes, because that's where we are right now, in the ashes. How do we elevate ourselves? We must become conscious of our environment, of our children's lives. Look at our children right now. What's in this world for them? Huh? They will grow up just like us, living in dirt, with feces all over us. Bad schools, nothing but rogues in our government. We can't do that, my people. We got to make things better for our children. We got to find a leadership that can clean up Liberia. Our country not hard to clean up, but we got to have devoted leadership. We got to have devoted and committed leadership that wants to see our country change. Not only wants, that understand what it means to have a clean, healthy, and decent nation. We got to have that leadership. Because if one or two people think they're that and the rest of us don't think they're that, our country will not grow. Our country will not prosper. We will not achieve the things that we need to achieve to elevate our lives. We'll continue on the same trend. This is a short class. There's only so much I can say to my people about corruption. There's only so much. We've been talking and singing this song from the day Liberia was founded. That wasn't the first war in Liberia. We have had disturbances in our country to change our leadership because of corruption, because of misrepresentation, because of bad leadership. 1980 was just the latest and the most bloody and costly, because we still suffer from it. But now, my Liberian people, after nearly 30 years of being in this mess, it's time for us to rise. It's time for us as a people. We can't dwell on our country and Congo bullshit no more. That's ancient stuff. That's ancient stuff. Only ignorant people deal on that thing. Right now, you think, oh, I look at my Liberian people, I'm not thinking about country and Congo. I'm thinking about all my Liberian people. We are a small nation. We need each other. We got to survive with each other. We can't survive with each other. So the more we keep on this negative, ignorant stuff about Congo and country dividing ourselves, we'll remain down, we'll remain corrupt, we'll remain stupid. That's the same corruption. That's the same corruption when we use our ethnicity to divide us, when we use our ethnicity to disparage each other, when we use our ethnicity to promote unfairness, dishonesty, lies, and treachery. That's corruption. That's the same corruption. It comes in different form. But anything that is not honest, that is not fair, that is not true and sincere, is corrupt. You don't need no book. You don't need no teacher. You just have to know if it's not honest, if it's not fair, it is not true, it's corrupt. Don't say nobody taught you. That's why I take my time. When I see there are issues, I address it. You don't see nobody disturbing me. I talk about it. I lay out all the facts. I do my notes. I don't come to class with all notes. I got my notes. In my notes, I'm talking about the laissez-faire behavior and attitude we got towards our government, towards any kind of government. Or there were people think, man, I don't want to get involved with those people. No, they're not those people think. They're our people think. They're our thing. You got to get involved with it. You see people messing up the government vehicle. Look, some things people do, man. Some people take the pen and just damage the vehicle. Why? Because they're not their vehicle, government vehicle, so they can do it. You report those kind of people. Let them pay for it. We do inspections of government vehicle. Everything government got, we inspect it every day and make sure that the last person who used it maintain it according to the specific policy. That's how we run government. All of us are accountable. Check yourselves before you wreck yourself. Every Liberian is accountable. to Liberia. You are accountable as a Liberian citizen because our government is not one person. We are the government of our country. We are us. No government can run. We are us paying taxes. No government can exist. You see how we are important to our government? That's why we are the foundation to stopping corruption. We are the foundation to changing our country. We are the foundation to making sure that government works. We are the foundation. Because our country is for us. We are us. No government can work. We are our taxes. No government can function. So my people, I almost reached my 30 minutes mark. This is just a 30 minutes class to re-emphasize the significance of why we need to stop corruption. To re-emphasize the fact that if we don't stop corruption, our country will die. We're almost dead. We're almost dead. We have nothing. We're existing on the grace of God. Look at our country. The dirt state in Painesville, the dirt, the mosquito, the diseases. The world is moving forward. We can't continue to be behind. The people in the world are seeing the need to change, to hold their leaders accountable, to hold themselves accountable. You got to start with yourself. You got to start with yourself. If you don't start with yourself, you cannot change nothing. You have to reevaluate yourself and say, I got to change my ways. I can't be corrupt. Only you can stop corruption. Only you can stop stealing. Only you can look at money and say, I will not steal it. Only you. Only you can do that. Nobody else can do that but you. Nobody else can do that but you. That's your obligation. That's your responsibility to Liberia. You owe it to our country. You owe it to the country you love. And that's what you call love. That's the foundation of what we call love. Aluta. Continua. My class is done. For Liberians and Liberia to rise, to grow, and to prosper, corruption in government, all forms of government, must end. Have a good day. My class is done.